Hold the order of the regular meeting for the Oneonta City School District Board of Education, August 4th, 2021. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Grau?
Here.
Mrs. Burnshorst? Here. Mr. Iannelli?
Here.
Mr. Beckering?
Here.
Mr. Geister?
Here.
Mrs. Prokowski? Here. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolved to accept the agenda as presented. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved to accept the minutes of the July 7th, 2021 reorganizational meeting as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolved to accept the minutes of the July 7th, 2021 regular meeting as presented. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolved to accept with regret the resignation of board member Colleen Cashman.
Second.
Discussion? I'll just say I would like to thank Colleen for her time and her service to the district, and she is moving out of the district, which prompted her resignation. But we do thank her. She was certainly, for her short period of time, she made an impact, and we do appreciate it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That brings us to our first opportunity to address the board. I know we have one item, but before we do that, I think there's one person online. For the person that's online, there's a Q&A button at the bottom. If you would like to make a comment, you can put it there and we will read it. And for those of you in attendance, we just ask that you state your name and you can make a statement at that time. Dr. Huber.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Katie Huber. I'm the district superintendent at ONC BOCES, and I've been in this position since October 1st. It feels like a million years, right, Tom? But it's really only been a few months. My role as district superintendent is not only to support our superintendents in their work, but also to support the boards of education. So I'm making a tour of all of our boards of education, just as I made a tour to visit all of our superintendents when I first started. So if there's anything that I can do to help support the work of your school board, please feel free to reach out to me. And I'm very grateful to be in the region and for the great work that's happening here. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Russell.
If I could just add, Dr. Huber joined us obviously at a very, very challenging time, which still hasn't gone away.
Right.
But Dr. Huber came in with confidence in leadership and plan, and I think we're very, very fortunate to have her serving in this capacity, not only in our district, but for all of the component schools in the ONC BOCES. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on. Resolved that the reading of the Teaching and Administrative Personnel Memorandum 2021-12 be waived, and that the action item stated August 4th, 2021 be approved as recommended by the superintendent of schools. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Yes, Mr. Gao and members of the board, we have a lot going on in our personnel memo this evening. First and foremost, we wish Lisa Depperman all of the very best in her retirement. Lisa has decided that she wants to teach again and will be teaching nursing students full time. But Lisa, as we all know, was much more than just a school nurse. She was a much needed ear to many of our students and many of our colleagues as well. And she advocated for everyone whenever they needed it. She's going to be sorely missed, but we certainly wish her all of the very best. Welcoming folks to our Yellow Jacket family. First, Molly Richmeyer. We welcome Molly to our high school family. Molly comes to us from Cooperstown, and we're very excited to have her joining us. Tricia Strockman will be serving as a school psychologist in our district. Tricia will complete us, as we will now have a school psychologist in each of our respective buildings. We're happy to have Tricia joining us. Lori Leahy Basso is becoming part of our Yellow Jacket family as well, and will be working out of the middle school as a social worker. After meeting all three of these folks, it's very clear that our students and our school community will be served very well by them all for years to come, so we welcome them all. Brittany Gunther is going to be joining us as a teaching assistant, and as we know, our teaching assistants play a very crucial role in the way we support our students, so we welcome Brittany. And lastly, you will know additional substitute teachers and our staff who do more than just what they signed on for. And they serve in all sorts of ways through extracurricular activities, including Mrs. Nicola Siegel, who will be our guidance chair, which is a very important role. So we're very appreciative to all of those folks. So lots of exciting things happening in our district, a lot of new faces, and Yellow Jacket family's changing, but always in support of our mission to attract, support, and retain the best folks that we can, people who are going to forge positive relationships with our kids. I would like to thank Colleen and our interview teams throughout the district who have really put very quality folks in front of me. I say it all the time that, if we're sitting across the table from someone who's applying for a job, in theory, they've really checked all the boxes to be able to be seated there. We always look for those people that will forge those positive relationships, not only with our students, but their families and their colleagues as well, because we all know that kids don't care about what you have to teach them until they know they're cared about. So I think, and we still have more hires, but I think that this hiring season, our district has done a wonderful, wonderful job. So thank you to everyone. And that's all I have for you, which is a lot. I will amend what you said, because I think that every hiring season we do a really good job. I think we really have all the years put together a really good set. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Resolved that the reading of the non-certificated personnel memorandum 2021-12 be waived, and that the action item stated August 4th, 2021 be approved as recommended by the superintendent of schools. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Not as much action on that.
No. That's okay, though. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that brings us to the superintendent's report. Understand Mrs. Moore has a. Yes. If you don't mind, I'll begin real quickly, sharing a couple of things. We'll start with the less pleasant. We did have to quarantine 14 of our summer program students and one staff member today due to a direct contact with a COVID positive. Working with our local Department of Health, as well as our team, contact tracing, we put those measures in place based on those recommendations, and we wish all of those folks continued good health. We're hoping that nothing turns into a positive with any of them. So fingers crossed there. As you are also aware, as we're sitting here masked again, which I didn't realize how incredibly hot that makes you. Otsego County has been designated as an area of substantial transmission. In accordance with the Centers for Disease Control, when an area reaches that classification, their recommendation is that all schools have faculty, staff, and students don masks while indoors regardless of vaccination status. This is a position that is supported by our local Department of Health. So we notified our faculty, staff, students, parents today of our protocol to return to mask wearing until further notice. So that's where we are with that. We're still awaiting protocol guidance relative to the start of the school year in September. Hoping that that will be forthcoming soon. In fact, I know that Dr. Huber is going to be participating in a meeting very soon. Hopefully we'll share some information with us. I know she'll share. Hopefully it's meaningful. So we'll see how that goes. But as soon as we have that information, we will share it with everyone as we prepare for September. Okay, moving on to the much more pleasant. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of very positive things taking place all throughout our district. And tonight we're going to hear from two of our outstanding administrators in our district. Colleen Moore is our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and Pam Brin is the Director of Special Education Services. And they're going to share a couple of things with us, and then after that, there'll be a motion to approve our district comprehensive improvement plan. Mrs. Moore will share with us a little during discussion, during the motion. So, Colleen, Pam?
So if I may, is it okay if A and C go together?
Yes.
Okay.
Good, yeah.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I would like to thank the Board of Education for everything that you've done over the past year to help us, and all the staffing that you've approved, and just everything that you do for our district. I just really wanted to formally thank you. And I also want to thank Mr. Brinley, because he has been the absolute best boss ever. He is a leader, and I learn from him every day. And I just wanted to formally thank you too, Mr. Brinley, for being so great, and to helping move this district forward in the way that it is moving forward. So just wanted to start with that. So Pam and I was so excited that Pam and I are working together as directors in this district. We've been able to really collaborate so much. I feel like she said it when she met you earlier, that she feels like a veteran. I feel like she's a veteran. Like we are on the same page. We're both systems people, and I'm really excited to have her as a teammate. So I thought we would collaborate tonight and share some of the wonderful things that are happening, and kind of give you some information, just a little bit of it. We don't want to spoil everything. So there's a slide up on the screen that you probably can't see that well, but we wanted to start off by saying that, our vision and our goals, like together, are really the same: to further enhance student outcomes, academic, social, and emotional. So that's like the big thing. Everything kind of fits underneath that. And then the bullets that you see is, we want to increase communication and collaboration across the district. I mean, we have 5 schools, and we want to just kind of continue to increase that communication and collaboration. Provide ongoing professional development to staff for successful and sustainable, that's the important word, implementation of new initiatives. We've done a lot of new things in our district for many, many years, and we're always doing really great things. Well, our goal is to make sure that they're sustainable, that they keep going, whether it's me here, Pam here, any of the administrators here. That's a really important piece of it all. And then equal and consistent educational programming across the district. I'm mainly talking about elementary here. Like, we really want to make sure, like last year, we even with COVID, we got all of our K-5 on the same math program, which was a really great thing that our teachers did. Even though they were going through all the stuff with COVID, they were still willing to adopt a new math program. So that's huge. So we're really moving forward in that. So I'm gonna let Pam talk a little bit. We created this little Venn diagram yesterday, And it kind of just talks about what we do here, so she's gonna kind of fill you in a little bit on that.
Great, so, we have these goals and objectives, so anytime that we're meeting and we're talking about any changes or things that we want to put in place in the district, we're focused on those goals, but once we're doing that work, we need to be checking in on those goals and making sure that we're making that progress, and that we're getting the results from the initiatives that we need for our students, because everything we're doing is for the students. And so Mrs. Moore, used a Venn diagram, which really talks about those tiered services. We have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Oftentimes we'll see that in a triangle format, but we're using this in 2 ways. One, tier 1 is all of our students are receiving the instruction, and the goal is that 80% of our students are learning from that tier 1 instruction, and that's great. For those students who need a little boost, that the data doesn't show us that they're progressing at the rate we need them to in their learning, we're adding in those tier 2 services, and that will meet the needs of about 10 to 15% of our student population, and that's in small group sessions with targeted interventions, research-based interventions, and we're tracking that data to make sure that growth is happening. And then if we're still not seeing the learning results that we want, we would add that tier 3 service, and that's going to be for about 5% of our students, and it's going to be for a shorter amount of time and in smaller groups. So if someone is struggling with reading, they're going to be getting the tier 1, the tier 2, and the tier 3 services to make sure that we're doing what we need for them to be able to grow in their learning. So with that, we'd like to share with the district our roles as directors here and what we do together. So Mrs. Moore is all things tier 1, and as the director of special education, I am all things tier 3. We come together for tier 2, and that's really important because that means Mrs. Moore and I are always talking, we're always collaborating, we're always working together on our district initiatives to make sure that between the work that we're doing together, we can make sure our students are growing at all of those levels, and that our amazing staff has the support and the professional development that they need to make sure that our students are learning and growing.
Thank you. And I just want to say I'm glad that we're tag teaming because I probably would have passed out by now. But when I finish up, it's okay. Anyways, you always have to have a little humor. We did say that, right? So we're going to move on to the district comprehensive improvement plan. We're on our 3rd year only because I think COVID didn't count. So we're continuing with our plan, and you all should have copies of that. I'm just going to share our 21-22 district priorities this year. We have 3 of them. There's the implementation of the K-5 program, math program. I talked about we adopted the program last year. Now we really didn't get to do what we wanted to do last year as far as fully implementing it. The teachers all used it. We did all the benchmark assessments. We did everything that we said we were going to do, but it's really hard to do that when some days you're hybrid, some days you're not, it's or whatever. So this year we're hoping for a full year implementation, and the teachers are going to track their progress. They're going to take notes, and then the hope is that next summer we'll be able to write our math curriculum. So that's one of our priorities. Our second priority is AIS and RTI, policies and protocols. Those need to be updated a little bit in our district, and we're really working hard to make sure, especially because we're focusing on interventions, really making sure that those plans are in place and that the strategies and the teachers understand what they're supposed to do and the forms are all there. And we're going to be using, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about, I need a break around way.
So ClearTrack is a software system that we use in special education, and there's a sister software called RTI Edge. And Mrs. Moore and I have been working with the professionals at South Central RIC, and the district will be utilizing RTI Edge at its full capacity this year. And what that means is any teacher at the K-5 level that is providing tiered services will be able to set goals within that system, and it'll be the warehouse for all of our universal screeners. So state test scores, iReady, DIBELS, all of those measures that we use get loaded into that system automatically. The magic happens behind the scenes. And then teachers and staff have access to that information. And then if a student is receiving those tier 2 services, the goals are set and we have additional data being added into that system. The parent portal is also available in RTI Edge. So that means when report cards go out, we can automatically push out information to our parents so they can see how their students are doing in those tier 2 and tier 3 services. So this is an exciting move forward for us to not only increase our communication in the district, but with our parents as well. And I think that's very important for us.
Thank you. And our third priority for the district comprehensive improvement plan is the counseling program, revising that and implementing that. We've been working on that also for a couple of years. Our school counseling team has been very good. They've gotten together. We're going on our third year of doing this, and they got together and they're planning. We have another meeting this Tuesday. We're gonna be talking about what are the roles of everybody in our counseling program. We're so lucky here in Oneonta. We have our school sites, our school counselors, and our social workers. Yes, and so anyway, so what are those roles and how do the general ed teachers know what those roles are and who to go to for all those things? So we're working on that, clearing that up. The counseling team is working on that together with the admin team. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to have a clear picture of what that is to communicate out to everybody in the district. And then they're also going to be working on their goals for curriculum. Like what are their school counseling mandates that they need to be teaching all of our students? So who's going to do what? When are they going to do it? What are all 9th grade students going to receive? What are all 5th grade students going to receive? So there'll be a K-12 program in place that we can share with you once that's all kind of hammered out. So those are our 3 priorities for the DSIP. And then Mr. Molay and his team at the middle school, Mr. Molay couldn't be here tonight because he's coaching his son's little league team. He really wanted to be here, but I said that's way more important. You go do that. And want to interject on anything. Mrs. Grimm has been a part of that counseling program revision because she works very closely with, especially the school psychologist. So it's good to always have her input. So the SET plan for the middle school and their team, they've done an outstanding job. Again, during all of this COVID situation, they still stepped up to the plate. They still are setting goals. And so they have 2 commitments that they're going to be working on this year. One of them is, if you read the documents that I sent you, is they want to strengthen their collaboration between general ed teachers, consultant teachers, and between general ed teachers and paraprofessionals. So we talked a lot about, they want to basically it all boils down to improving the outcomes of ELA and math. So, those of you that work in schools, you walk around, sometimes we're not sure, like the LTA will go into a classroom and they don't want to, disturb the teacher, but we want to make sure that they're doing what's best for the kids in the classroom. So we want to make sure that they're trained. And then in the LTA, the teachers have time to work together to plan and really be instructional supports for our kids in those classrooms. So we recognize that as a weakness, and we're going to be doing some training on that. And I really want to highlight this because it's really special and it hasn't happened. I don't remember a time that it's really happened. All of our K-8 administrators are coming together on August 23rd and they're teaching our teachers. So we got all the elementary principals, Mr. Molay, Mrs. Grimm, myself, and an ONC staff developer, Carolyn Cooper, and Amanda Mathewson are coming together, and we're all planning together. It really gave me goosebumps because we sit down at the table, we plan this day for all the teachers and LTAs. We're going to be training them, and it's August 23rd, and the title of that training is Consultant Teaching Meets Co-Teaching, Models of Reaching and Teaching All Students. So we'll have to fill you in on that next time. I'm running out of breath here. Okay, so that's the decent in the set. Do you want to add anything about those?
No, I just echo, it was really just exciting to have 8 professionals sit down and give up their time for the summer and really be dedicated to student outcome and to supporting the staff. We have a great staff here in Oneonta. They are so dedicated to our students, and to have about 40 staff say, yes, I want to come in the summer and I want to learn from you. I want to learn more. How do we get better at the amazing things we're already doing in the classroom? So that's a really dedicated, real dedication, especially after going through the last 15 to 18 months that we have. So I just really want to highlight how proud I am to be part of this team because everyone is so dedicated to their profession.
Thank you. So next bullet on my list here is our reading initiative. We are going to be going through a pretty major reading initiative here in Oneonta, and I'm just gonna tell you a little backstory here, why. Because everybody always wants to know the why. Why are we doing this? So I was working down at Riverside this year, and I was talking to a couple of intervention teachers and a school psychologist. And they were talking to me about the data and why kids aren't necessarily, they're doing all these interventions and why aren't they meeting, why aren't the scores improving and why aren't they, no, they're doing so much, they're doing everything right, they're working so hard, they really truly are. So they started doing some research and they shared it with me. And it's called The Science of Reading. And I really knew a little bit about it, but not much. And so I started researching and listening and to podcasts and things, and I was like, light bulbs were going off like crazy. So we were sharing it with our admin team. So we had a really great day. So, and I just want to say that we need to improve our students' reading scores of those students that are reading at grade level. We really do. And this isn't just an Oneonta problem. We're doing great here. It's a nationwide. If you look at the data, we're right there with everybody else. So we're working hard, we're just not seeing the needle move. So because this year was supposed to be the year that we were looking, remember we talked about, we did K-5 math. Our next jump was gonna be K-5 ELA. This was supposed to be the year. We're still gonna do that. But what we decided to do is our first step is to educate our teachers in the science of reading. And so that we can best choose the curriculum and standards and methods that we want to be using here in Oneonta so that we can move that needle. If the science of reading, when applied correctly, increases the success of reading. So on July 22nd, again, I want to commend our admin team. They came together for a full day. We sat down, the reading lead out of Syracuse, we signed up with them, they came. They spent the whole day with our admin team. And we, at the end of that day, created a plan for our district for 21-22 school year. So all K-5 teachers will be getting trained and learning about the science of reading. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Darn.
Do you need, I can Mrs. Moore and I work really well together. The outfits were not planned. I got them today and I was like, okay, we almost had to, whether this was not intentional, we are just collaborating so well that we're now doing.
I was like, what? You have a good time. Yeah, that's good. So that's really exciting. And I would like to know you to know that I'll share with you when those training days are gonna be. And if you want to come sit in, I was talking to someone who was reading me. A lot of times some board members do sit in and listen. So I will share that schedule with you and you're welcome to come sit and listen. It's really quite interesting. And I can share some podcasts with you too, if you'd like to hear about that. I'm sure your wife would fill you in too.
Great conversation about it.
I'm sure you have many, so she'll be happy. I bet you she'll do a dance when you tell her. The next quick thing, I only have a couple, this is my last thing, and I'm gonna turn it over to Mrs. Groom. New teacher orientation plan, like we talk about all of our new staff, welcome everyone. I can't wait to really formally do that mask. We have 35 to 40 new yellow jackets coming into our school this year. This is huge. So Mrs. Nobling and I worked on, talking, and Mrs. McGinnis, we all talked about how are we going to onboard all these folks? Because we really need to do a good job at that. They're here now, let's show them how awesome we really are and make sure that they're all set and ready to go. So Mrs. Nobling and I worked on, there's some things that just teachers need. They need to know how to do Schoology, they need to know Parent Square, they need to know GoGuardian, they need to know eSchool Plus. Lots of other little things that they may need to know. So we're setting up a new instructional teacher day for them, and it's gonna be ed camp style, so that they're gonna come, we have a form that we created that they filled out, and they're telling us what their needs are. So we're gonna come together, break up into groups and teach them. That's why on the first day they're ready to go. On 7th, that's August 19th. On September 1st, we have all of our new staff coming up to the high school, and we're gonna do our formal new staff orientation, where kind of the traditional, Mr. Brindley will be talking to them about safety and, I have the agenda, but it's like our formal thing. So that's just a half day, we'll have breakfast, and then it'll be a nice day to welcome everybody. I have a couple games we'll play, things like that. So any questions for me? I know Mrs. Grimm has some things that she wants to share as well. All right, well, thank you for listening, and I'll stand up here for moral support.
I might need a mask break.
Yeah, exactly, let's do a commercial break.
So in terms of the new staff, as Mr. Grimmy said earlier in the meeting, we have added a physical psychologist to our team. And so last week, all of the school psychologists, all five of them, met with me for about a half day. And again, with that systems focus, we have a school psychologist in each building. We want consistency. We want to be using the same forms. We want our parents to be getting the same message. We want the same systems in place for everybody. So we were able to really start talking through that, what that is going to look like in each building, so that when we're ready to open the doors in the fall, we have consistency across the district. And the school psychologist said, we need to touch base with each other throughout the school year. So they have set aside, some afternoons and some mornings for about half an hour, really to talk through some of those challenging eval and re-eval questions, and just making sure that as a team, we're all on the same page. That means there's now 6 of us in the district acting as CSE chairs, and I'm one of those. That means we're leading meetings, and we want the same outcome. It shouldn't matter who's leading that meeting. They should be run the same way, and we should have the same outcomes, and there should be collaboration and communication, and our parents should feel like they're a part of that conversation and really developing the best plan for our special education students. And so that's the importance of us all working together. And then in addition to that, we hired 2 speech pathologists. One will be full-time at Greater Plains, and then one will be part-time here that we're sharing with Skinny Vis, working with our middle school and high school students. So again, that team of professionals got together this week so that we have, again, the same systems in place. We're using the same paperwork, that same communication, and continued collaboration, even though they're in different buildings, that they're working together and they feel supported within their specific field. So we have that work going on in the special education department, which really mirrors what's going on for all of our staff here in Oneonta. With special education, one of the needs that we have here in Oneonta is to really make sure we have a true continuum of services in place for our students. So what does that mean? That means I can't wait to get into the classrooms in September and really watch our great special ed teachers and LTAs in action and see our students learning, physically in the classroom. I can read IEPs all day, and that only gives me a picture of a student. I really want to see the student in their environment and having fun, learning, and growing. And then there's going to be this chart that will be available to parents. It'll be on our school website, and it'll talk about all of the measures for our continuum of services. So currently we have 9 self-contained classrooms, and we really need to complete this grid to talk about what are the age ranges of our students, what are their academic strengths, what are their cognitive strengths, what are those needs with their behavior, social, emotional, adaptive. So there'll be this chart, and it'll be labeled across all of the services that we offer. So a resource room, which is a pull-out of about 5 students working with a special ed teacher, indirect or direct consultant teacher model. As you learned, we're going to be adding co-teaching as one of those services, and then all of our self-contained classrooms. And as CSE chairs, when we're leading those meetings, as special education teachers, when we're making decisions about what is the best program for this special ed student, we need a clear understanding of the programs that we currently have in our district. We need to know the needs of our students. We need to know if we need to add any programs so that a student coming in at kinder can be with us until their senior year or until they exit, and they have a true continuum of services to meet their needs. So that's a big lift. It's a lot of work, but it's important work. And the school psychologist and I will be working collaboratively on that throughout the school year. And I'll be giving you updates on that work as that information comes in. And then with special education, there's always state reporting. And I am happy to say that we have completed all of the mandated reporting. All of our indicator 13 and 14 work is completed, which is the post-secondary outcomes and the secondary transitions. We had to do our own self-review process. And secondary teachers did that in February with me. The portal was open, so I was able to officially submit that data. And then we had to do our verification reports of our preschoolers. And then any student who was evaluated this year that the parent has placed them in a private school. So all that data is in the system and it has been submitted to the state. And then lastly, just some more information on the parent portal. The special ed team, myself and my secretaries went through the training with the South Central RIC. We have all of our letters and our data and our information set up and ready to go. We plan to do our rollover from the school year so that we're ready for 2021 in August, so that when kids come back, we'll be updating our parents, informing our parents of how to get their information through the parent portal. And then the parent portal will be live for the entire school year. So that's going to mean that parents have direct access online to their IEP, the 504, progress notes anytime they want it. And we'll be able to send out information that way. It's going to save our staff a lot of time. It's going to save the district money. And again, it's going to improve the communication with our families, and families are essential as part of the CFG process. So that's the additional information that I wanted to share with you this evening. Are there any questions for me?
I'm gonna ask you an IT guy question. Maybe Bonnie can answer. Will the portal that you mentioned be accessible through our normal portal, so there will only be one login for parents?
Right now, that is a great question, and right now that is not accessible. So we will send them their own link, and they could use the same password, they could use the same username to keep that consistent. But it is a separate link. Our plan is to have that link on the special ed website with some information there as well. So we'll try to make it as seamless as we can for our families. But hopefully that'll come. I have to say that ClearTrack is one of those systems that we make suggestions and give feedback, and they are updating it and improving it all the time. And the parent portal is relatively new, so I think with each year it's going to get better.
And just to add to that, we are really looking and shopping kind of for a dashboard. So that, like you said, Bill, that a parent could really just log in, click here for eSchool, click here, that would be like the perfect world. So no one really has created that yet, so we're working on it. We just had a meeting last week with our school tool people that we have to switch to in a couple of years. So we have eSchool now, we'll be switching to school tool. And we still haven't found the perfect fit yet, but that is really our goal. That's a really great question.
Sounds like we need to have a technology committee meeting.
Yeah.
Finally.
Sounds good. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I think it was great to hear from you guys. I mean, I like it. I know we do a lot of great things here, but we have to really be goal oriented, and I'd like to hear the vision and the goals so that we want to get behind you guys and help you guys do what you want to do. And any good operation needs to identify like some type of objective or goal that they want to attain, or weaknesses that we can correct. And I heard you mention, this weakness, or our reading levels are right here, but we'd like to put them right here. So I mean, I like to hear those kinds of things, because now I know we have a place we want to get to, and then that helps us help you guys get to where you want to go. And we're not just kind of last second, we got to do this because we need to do this. So I commend you on that. It was great to hear those kind of things there's measurable metrics there, there's measurable objectives, there's all kinds of data. And so I really appreciate that. And I'd love to hear from you guys towards the end of the year, just a little bit of a follow-up on this, kind of where we hit in there, and whether if the K-5 math program, how the K-5 math program rolled out work. Did it all come together, and how's it work? Or our reading levels, where are they? That kind of thing. So
I don't want to wait till the end of the year, so hopefully we'll do it every month, every other month, or every quarter, or whatever you guys decide.
Especially, mid-year, when we start getting into the budget
Yeah.
process, if there are things we need to build into that, that's the information we need then.
Sounds good.
Thank you both so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Resolved to accept the 2021-2022 District Comprehensive Improvement Plan as presented.
second.
Any discussion? Or discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Resolved that the reading of the financial memorandum 2021-11 be waived, that the action items, the financial action items dated August 4th, 2021 be approved as recommended by the superintendent of the schools.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, I'll try to talk over the lower. The fund balance adjustment for the tax hearing is something that we do annually, and that's based on the liabilities that we know at the time. And just today, well, this week we got another one, so we were getting way down there. And then today, just before I left, I think we got 5 more. So they're rolling in, so that number will probably change, but that's as of June 30th. And then you have some bids there and quotes and bids. The only one I want to point out is the boiler service. If you looked at that, it runs from, 19,000 to 58,000. So there was a big, there's a big gap there. We usually only get 1 or 2. We got 5 this year, which is always good to get other ones. The lowest responsible bidder, because we haven't used them before, we did check the references and because they were so much lower than everybody else. So we called schools, we called hospitals, they had great reviews. And we also checked to make sure that it wouldn't void the warranties on our new boilers. So, to be honest with you, the company that installed our boilers doesn't like them because they're competition. So they said, you should use somebody else, but we did check all the references and they do have great reviews. So, we thought we'd get the lowest responsible bidder a shot at it anyway. And then, let's see, some dictionaries, surplus, quarterly report. Okay, so the tax settlement on there was for the Goodyear Lake Hydro, and that one got a little bit complicated because they sold it in between this lawsuit, this tax cert lawsuit. But the good thing about this is that it doesn't go backwards, and that's what we always try to do. We don't really have any control over the assessments. But what we get involved in and try to do is make sure that we don't have to give back refunds. Moving forward, we can build it into the tax base, but it's hard for us when we have to go back and give the money that, we've already left. So,
Is that about a change of about $300,000 in assessment, about right?
I think it
Like 40 going
is.
down to 200 or something, right?
Yeah, the settlement, well, we're just gonna approve it now, but there were a whole slew of them. It wasn't just one property, it was a whole bunch of them. And it actually didn't amount to much, to be honest with you. This is one of the smaller ones. So, let's see, the internal controls audit, that is actually for the past year. And what happened was we had them scheduled and then COVID hit, nobody could come in and just everything didn't work out. And the state still wants us to go back and audit that 1 year. So we have to go backwards now and audit that year, even though we couldn't do with that. So that's what that one is about. And then there's a couple of budget transfers, some are informational, some are action items. One of them you already see, but I had the wrong code on there. So just to make it official, it's back on there for you to approve. And our auditor is here right now, this week. And as you know, when we have space in our special ed programs, because we do have programs here, other schools want to send their students. So then we contract with other schools to send their students here when we have space. And just another special support.
All right, any discussion, questions?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Resolved to approve the 2019-2020 tax warrant as presented.
So,
Discussion? It says 19 and 20, should it be 2021?
Yes, it should be the
Okay.
21.
So resolve to approve the 2020-2021 tax warrant as presented.
Ooh,
Thank you.
no, I'm sorry, it's the 21-22. It's this, for the tax.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
We'll amend that to 21-22.
And that was the amount that we had in our 21-22 budget proposal, and it's a 0.39% all around increase. As you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that your taxes are gonna go up by 0.39. I was actually plugging numbers in today, and you know, there have been some reassessments, and so some municipalities will go down and some will go up. And that's just the way it works out with the equalizations. The equalizations haven't changed in a long time, but they did fluctuate this year. So, we have some change in assessments and some change in equalization, and that's gonna, a lot of people are gonna question that. But the all around is 0.39.
Other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Before we move to our second opportunity to address the board, I skipped over the capital project report. I know it's short, but I was hoping you weren't gonna call me, because it's hard to follow that, you know, but I gave you a little bubble. I know, you know, in our online school store, we have a shirt design that says it's pretty big, you know, the jacket, but when you hear that stuff and hear everything that's going on, you get a sense of why that is. But very quickly, relative to the capital project, you know, if you're driving from Center Street or you're driving on Valley View, Street in front of the school, you'll see some fresh straw that has been placed where the concrete slabs, where the underground storage, fuel storage tanks once lived. They have been closed in place. They couldn't be removed due to their proximity to utilities. It was the architect and engineer who definitely agreed that they needed to be closed in place. Beside that, the paving project on Silas Lane around the bus garage is now complete. It's been striped, it looks great down there. The drainage basins are all have been repaired. Our buses will return to their home on Monday. But looks great down there. There's some additional door work taking place at Valley View and at the Silas Lane property. But other than that, that's all I have for you. Thank you. Any questions on that? That brings us to our second opportunity to address the board.
Forgive me, I wrote it down because I'm not very good at speaking. My name is Elizabeth White. I am here because I have 3 children who attend the Oneonta School District. My son Isaac, who is 6, my niece Gabriella, who is 9, they both attend Valley View. And I have a nephew, Lucas, who is 8, who attends the Riverside Special Education Program. This past year, our family suffered a lot of loss. I lost my mother and I lost my brother within 6 months of each other. Sorry. My brother is Eric and Gabriella, or my brother Eric is Gabriella and Lucas's father. He was a single full-time father and raised them with the help of our mother. Those 2 losses resulted in me gaining custody of Gabriella and Lucas. During that time, I was living in the Oneonta School District, but in May, the home I was living in sold. The only available appropriate housing I was able to find was in Tebow for a family of that size. I'm currently searching for a home to purchase in the Oneonta School District, so I'm actively looking to buy a home. I would really like to keep them in the Oneonta School District. They've had a significant amount of setbacks in their education and social development due to the time leading up to and including the deaths of their 2 caregivers. And they've made huge progress in the Oneonta School District, but I do not believe it would happen to anything else to have that kind of improvement. I'd like to read a statement from Lucas's teacher. This is from Emily Wright at Riverside. Good evening, I'm Lucas's special education teacher, and on the behalf of Lucas and his family, I would like to speak about the incredible growth that Lucas has made this year. Lucas had nearly perfect attendance during the virtual, hybrid, and in-person months. When Lucas came to me this fall, following the severe family trauma, he struggled with adult attachment, lacked all social engagement ability, was significantly behind academics. By the end of our year, despite the challenges it has brought, Lucas is exhibiting no severe.
Excuse me, yeah, listen, yeah, what is it?
Until it goes back in red.
It's okay, I needed a break. I needed a break anyway.
You're doing great.
So basically, he was struggling with adult attachment, lacked all social engagement ability, and was significantly behind in academics. And this was also after he had just transferred to the Rome City School District, where they couldn't offer him a program. So on top of that, he was out of school for over a year. They offered him a tutor who was only able to come once a week and was not meant for what he needed. So he had no education for a year leading up to all of that. So by the end of the year, despite all the challenges, Lucas is exhibiting no severe behaviors, has increased his ability to communicate, has gained reading, math, and writing skills. He could not write his name when he moved here. He could not write his name, and he can write his name with no problem now. I'm so proud. Math and writing skills, made friends outside of his special class placement, and is mainstreaming alongside his general education peers. Our classroom is able to provide Lucas with individualized social emotional curriculum that he needs in order to help build back skills he lacks following his trauma. Lucas has responded to all the support and flourished both behaviorally and academically. I truly feel that our classroom was the missing puzzle piece Lucas needs to grow to his potential. I fear that changes to Lucas's classroom, peers, counselor, and teachers will have a dramatic effect on Lucas's growth. Thank you for your time, Emily Bright. So that statement from her, I mean, says a lot. Lucas's education, all of their education is very important to me, especially for Lucas, with a lot of the things he struggles with. So like I said, we were put in Otsego as of May. I know that Oneonta has been pushing to be a trauma-informed district and cares a lot about the emotional well-being of the students in their schools. Gabriella and Lucas have been through a significant trauma and have had so many changes in their lives that I believe switching them would put them through more trauma. So I'm asking the school board if there's anything they can do to help the children stay in Oneonta School District. Now, like I said, this is just a temporary displacement. We are renting a home that's also going to be sold soon. So we are looking to purchase a home. And obviously, a lot of people know that the market is very hard right now. There's a lot of way overpriced homes and that don't work for a lot of families, but we are actively looking with a realtor. We have a pre-approval for a mortgage. We're actively looking. I'm just asking that they're able to remain in the school district while we continue to look, so I don't have to put them through the big change of putting them in another school just to switch them back. I think it would really affect them in a big way. So that's it.
First of all, so sorry for your losses. And Mrs. McGinnis, if you can stick around just for a few more minutes, Mrs. McGinnis will get your contact information. I will reach out, I'll work with Mr. Baskin. We will spend some time reviewing your particular circumstances. There may be some options. Can't guarantee anything, but we will explore it.
That's all I ask is to explore.
We will do that for sure. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is there anybody in the chat? All right, that brings us to our committee reports roundtable. Start with Sean.
I'll try to put it tight. Provide my definitely was the fact that I missed our retreat, our last meeting where we all together had a really good talk, and I had my son had surgery, so maybe we make the retreat. It was kind of broke my heart, but there's a lot of things I wanted to hear from State Board of Education, spoke, so I apologize for not making it, but we all know family comes first, period. Dr. Hubert, thank you. I've said this time and I'll say it time and again that FaceTime is huge to me. You know, I can see an email, I can read a letter, that's great, but having a FaceTime coming into a district and expressing your concerns, not just for one school district, but all the districts that you represent. So thank you for showing up and giving your time tonight. I really appreciate that. The new hires, congratulations. I mean, I didn't realize we had 35 to 40 some new folks coming in. This is great. It's a good time for a change. So congratulations to all you for your new jobs. Elizabeth, I'm gonna try not to get emotional.
I was trying to do too. I wanted to tell that story.
Well, trust me, I'm a pretty sensitive guy, and I listened to what you had to say, and like, trust me, Tommy and our district will do our best that we can to help you out. I just can't say enough, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the situation you're put in right now, and no one deserves that. So I hope we can come up with something to help you out, or at least get you in the right direction. Most importantly, the children, the education they need and deserve. That's, to me, that's number one. So
That's why
again,
I'm here.
I commend you for standing up and talking tonight.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, well, I wanted to acknowledge Colleen Cashman, stepping away, as Bill said. She's shown lights and spots that, you know, we sometimes haven't been looking. So I think her contributions were very, very well received and very necessary. And she's going to be, I want somebody who's going to be just as good. And to put that out there, that we are looking for anyone who is interested in stepping up and serving the rest of that time. No, they,
Serve out her.
yeah, serve out her time. So I wish all the best to Colleen and her family. Thank Dr. Huber, congratulate all the new hires. And of course, Elizabeth, you know, you're in good hands, we're rooting for you. And your family, and I'm sorry for your loss. And then Colleen and Pamela, you're the energy. It really, not only do I think we get energized from hearing it, but I want everybody to know what you're doing, you know, because I think not even every grade level knows how much work you put in and what you do, whether it's, you know, a traditional school year or those summer months that a lot of hard work and planning goes into as well for you and the administrators who are helping you plan the future. So thank you, and yeah, I want to know more about the science of reading. So thank you. I'll leave it at that.
To me? Well, I'm probably not gonna say anything that hasn't already been said. I would like to thank Colleen Cashman for her time on the board. I mean, she obviously did, you know, give us some direction in areas that we hadn't been looking, like Amy said. So good luck with Colleen, and I think she's going down to the Shenango Valley District, so we'll be facing her daughters in some of the athletics and things. But good luck, Colleen. Thank you, Dr. Huber. It's nice to put a face with a name, and welcome to the district. And thanks for coming tonight. I'd like to congratulate Lisa Duffman for retiring. Good luck, and she's going into a different, you know, she's gonna be teaching nursing, so that was a little good career change there. So congratulations, Lisa, and good luck. And welcome to all the new staff. I can't go through all the names. There's a bunch, and I know they're all outstanding hires. So good luck and welcome. Again, Colleen and Pam, thank you. And again, it's just great to hear the vision and the goals and you know, the metrics and all the things that you guys do. So thanks for the presentation tonight. And Elizabeth, again, I hope, Tom and Walt, find something, work something out for you, maybe, in the short term and to help you out. And it's great to hear that this is a great fit for your kids. And, so hopefully there's some answers and hopefully they can point you in the right path. And that's all I have.
Yeah, being towards the end. Being that horse here, but, no, the new hires, congratulations, very exciting. Colleen and Pam, like Darren said, the vision that you guys have, and you could actually, I can see it, what you guys are trying to accomplish, and it's great. And, being an educator, I'd be really excited if you guys would come in and talk to us about stuff like that, so very exciting. The one thing that I want to thank the administrators for coming early tonight and meeting with us. We appreciate that, breaking the ice, putting names with faces. So thank you for coming. That's about it.
Bill. I ditto to everything that everyone else has already said. I do want to, 21 years ago, Lisa taught the birthing class when I was pregnant with Kyle. So when she was the nurse in the high school, I was pretty excited. And Kyle's going to college, so. I really love seeing all of the appointments that we made for the clubs and the activity appointments that we made. It does make it look like we're going right into the in the right direction, going back to somewhat normal for the school year. While Colleen and Pam were talking, I was writing notes here on what to say, and by the end of it, I was circling the word exciting, because it's very exciting what you guys presented tonight. I'm coming into a new dynamic this year because I don't have kids in the district anymore. And I'm sure that Darren can probably talk, Bill's been in this position, but I don't want to see a disconnect, but it's exciting that you guys are so all of these people in the summertime, and it seems like they're getting excited for it as well. For coming and being, I think that we do appreciate it, and hopefully there's something that we can do to help you out. I do not have any committee reports, but I'm looking forward to being able to meet as committees. That's all I have. Thank you.
For the record, I'm last.
Well, yeah.
You can get a half of next time.
Yeah.
We'll jump around. I'll put a number under everybody's. I echo the sentiments that everyone said, and Elizabeth, I do want to address specifically you. I too, we are all sorry for your losses, and I hope that we can work something out, and like everyone said, if there's a solution to be found, this is the man who will find it, and we will do everything we can to help you out. Sean, you mentioned the retreat, and you have your homework in front of you. I expect a full report next week.
Looking forward to it.
We did, Amy mentioned the new board member there. Anyone who is interested can send a letter of interest to Reggie at the district office. And we'll review those and make an appointment, and the person will fill the remainder of Colleen's tenure. One important role that Colleen played was co-chair with me on the Equity and Inclusion Committee. And if anyone's interested in joining me on that committee, let me know. I sent the list to Reggie. I didn't send it out to everybody, so we'll do that too. Basically, what you asked to be on is what everybody is on. I think the only adjustment I made was to my own committees, because I would have been the fourth on one of the committees, and I just took myself off. So I think that we'll be able to work that out. And I am looking forward to committees meeting again. And I think we're looking forward to all of that interaction, hopefully in person more so than not.
I do want to congratulate Lisa Jefferman, and, you know, having children who went through the district, obviously, we've had cross paths, and she's certainly been a positive help and influence on the district. And I think she will be a great addition as an educator to our future nurses. So I think we're, you know, we'll see the benefits to that down the road at some point. Tom, Lisa, and I met with Otsego Now, or industrial, yeah, CDA, industrial development, because we received notice about the potential for a pilot for Springbrook, for a project that they're working on Main Street. You may have seen some of it in the news. And, you know, we raised some concerns with them about when they offer these pilots. Basically, a pilot is for a new business coming in. They agree that they'll hold their taxes at a certain level, which could be the current level, it could be lower, for a certain period of time, and essentially remove a property from the tax rolls. And so we expressed some concerns about that. We were assured that this property in particular will not be removed from the tax rolls. What the pilot agreement in this case is going to be is only for the upper floors where they're going to build residential properties. The tax assessment will remain as is for the remainder of the building. So that was a good conversation. In addition, they were unaware of what really happens to us as a district when they remove a property. So we're granted aid, and there's a whole complicated formula based on the wealth of your district. And wealth is calculated by your the property assessment in your district. It's not the taxable property assessment, it's the property assessment. So when something's removed, our wealth doesn't go down, but our ability to tax does. So you know, if we had $1,000 and they took $10 off, we only had $990 left to tax against, and the remainder gets spread out among the rest of the taxpayers. They were unaware of that calculation, so they're going to go back and look at their policies and procedures. They're also going to do some advocacy in state government to hopefully look at the way formulas are done, which we all know has been done before. But this is a different tax, and I'm hopeful that because it's coming from an industrial development agency and it's not looked at as the school board or the BOCES or whoever advocating for it, it may be a different avenue. There may be some traction there. So I wanted to let you know about that. And, you know, Tom touched on masking, and obviously, we didn't think we'd be sitting here wearing masks again, but it appears that way. You know, for my position at SUNY, we're in the same boat. Everyone is going to be required to mask, regardless of vaccination status. And you know, given the numbers that we're all seeing, both you know, locally and nationwide, there are probably good reasons for it, and hopefully, you know, we can get more people vaccinated, we can get more people wearing masks, and those numbers can turn around, and maybe at some point we'll you know, be able to take the masks off and get back to more normal. That was all that I had, and so I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purposes of special education and personnel.
So, second.
All in favor? Opposed? Adjourned.